Okay, as far as I can tell, we're live. So just a little short stream. It's really a test stream. I didn't promote it anywhere. Just went live. Want to play around with this kind of thing, sharing a screen. That's the main thing. I seem to have it right. Don't know if my audio's working properly, but just here we go. So we can scroll and we can see what's going on. So because I'm planning on doing a couple of streams where I want to discuss a couple of topics that are going around at the moment. And I want to be able to access resources online like this one and find the best way to display them. So I could try that, but I don't like being tucked under the banner there. I know I can go full screen with it like that. No, I think where I was pretty good. Yeah, I reckon that's the best option, that one. So, may as well give it a bit of a go. I hope I've got audio. I won't know unless anybody pops into chat and fills me in. But the main focus is to be able to present some online resources and some things to react to. So I wasn't sure if this this shared screen was going to show like tabs at the top of my browser and stuff like that. But it looks pretty good. It's just showing the actual content of the stream. I don't think that's bad at all. Oh yeah, I can go full screen layout. Got to figure out how to get back from that if I do. Oh, full width layout. Fair enough. Exit full screen layout. And there we go. Yeah, that's not bad. I don't mind that at all. I think I'll change the background. Let's go. Yeah, I like that one. Hang on, what happened there? There we go. Maybe not. Maybe this one. Maybe where I wasn't so bad. Just trying a few out. These are all photos I took. No, it probably works. Now, how do I move that? Oh, here we go. Yeah, cool. That looks pretty good. Okay. So the topic I want to get into is that the Victorian government, the state in Australia where I live, a little while ago decided to create a world first. We've done a few of those. A world first in wokeness, which is to introduce a secretary for men's behaviour change. Doesn't that sound weird, right? There's no secretary for anybody else's behaviour change. And I looked around, I thought there might have been a website dedicated to it, but there wasn't. There's just other people responding to it. And one of them was One Nation, which is good old Pauline Hanson, one of the most hated women in Australia. That's not her. That's not her in the photo. Pauline Hanson is a politician here in Australia, runs a party called One Nation. They probably have one or two seats in the entire parliament. She's not an independent. She's like a small party, effectively, but she may as well be independent. She has a lot to say about these kind of things. So I thought I'd share this and go a little bit through her response to the whole thing. Just going to open up another window so I can see what's going on. Bear with me a moment. Okay, that's a bit weird. Trying to open a window with my own live feed going. And can't seem to find it. See how we go. Yeah, there it is. So I can watch that one there and get an idea. So, whoops, audio. Because I look like crap on my own camera in StreamYard. It's all pixelated, but it looks okay on. I mean, as okay as as okay as I'm going to look. Yeah, that seems to be acceptable quality. Except a little bit of a lag going on. But I think it's okay. It'll do. Gives me an idea. Jim, what the fuck back to you, brother? It's good to see you. I'm just doing a little test stream. Nothing too serious. Well, we're talking about the Secretary for Men's Behaviour Change, you know. So I want to start responding to some things in the near future. And I'm just sort of learning the ropes. How to share stuff and how to present it and stuff like that. So don't expect too much, my friend. I hope the audio. Actually, Jim, Bill, who the fuck's Bill? Jim, could you give me a shout out in chat if the audio is working okay? Because I can get feedback on everything else except, well, I can actually get feedback on audio, but beautiful. Thank you, mate. Uh, Jim, I'm only going to be around for half an hour. Do you want to come up and have a little chat and we can talk about this, or do you want to just sort of chill in the chat? Not looking for legal advice, obviously. Just a layman's opinion. You can pretend to be a layman for half an hour. Well, Jim's got some other things on his mind right now. He's probably gone to take a leak. That's all right. We'll get rolling. So, Pauline Hanson had some opinions about the Secretary for Men's Behaviour Change. Let's have a look. I'm not going to read every line. We'll kind of skim through it just for the sake of playing with the stream. Some things. Oh, Jim, you got court tomorrow. Yeah, fair enough, mate. For people who are listening, Jim's a lawyer. He's not going to court. He's on the other side of the bench, or you know, he's one of the good guys. So, got court tomorrow. No, fair enough, mate. You want to be in good shape for that. But I subscribed and will be in touch. Glad to hear it, my man. Glad to hear it. Us Aussies need to stick together. So, and thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. All right. Some things which come out of Victorian politics these days beg a belief. The Labor government of Australia's wokest state, guilty as charged, is always seeking to push the boundaries of identity and victimhood politics, and has proudly achieved a world first by appointing a parliamentary secretary for men's behaviour. You know, sometimes achieving a world first isn't necessarily a good thing. We'll skip that bit. The next paragraph, don't really care about that. Yeah, perhaps more telling is that no one has been appointed as a parliamentary secretary to look into why there is an epidemic of self-deletion among Australian men. Why the vast majority of homeless people are men. Why men are overwhelmingly the victims of violent crime. Well, you see, the wokies will say, yeah, but it was men who committed the crime. So, fuck men, right? They put us all in the same boat. And men are far more likely to die or be injured at work. That's true. Or the inherent bias against men in Australia's family law system. So she's making some good points. I was talking to this one time, I was not that long ago, a few years ago, but in terms of my entire lifespan, it wasn't that long ago. I was dating a feminist of all things. Crazy. And she always brought up this statistic. She used to love to switch between percentages and raw numbers. Whichever one made her side sound more tragic, she would go with that one. And she told me, every year in Australia, 52 women lose their lives at the hands of an intimate partner. David Healy, are we not men? Uh-oh. I'm only going for half an hour, boys. So God help me. And so she liked to point out all the time, 52 women every year lose their lives at the hand of a man. Good morning, Shazzy. Always good to see you, man. And I heard a stat yesterday. We lose 46 men to self-deletion every week. Now, I haven't looked it up. I'm going off, the internet told me, so it must be true. But that's a staggering statistic. Oh, John Burt, good to see you too. Excuse me. I need a smoke. Hang on. So, John Burt, look, John, there was some beer involved, but don't want to do this now. It was not for the reason you thought it was. So, do me a favor, hit me up in Discord and we'll talk about it, okay? David Healy nailed it, yeah. So, I just can't, bro. I just can't, okay? Anyway, beside the point. So, like I said before, in case you guys missed it, this is just like a little test stream. I'm learning how to do this, right? How to scroll things and talk about things in the stream. Been playing with layouts and playing with stuff. And I'm discussing the fact that Victoria, the state in Australia where I live, has introduced a secretary for men's behaviour change, which means just telling men why we're all assholes. It's now in Parliament. And I was trying to find a website that could maybe give. I thought they would have a website, but they don't, as far as I can tell. So I had to I had to just look up some responses, and one of them I come across was Pauline Hanson, the most hated woman in Australia. She's also a ranger, so what can you say? Uh, so I'm just going through her response, and she's kind of making a fair point about the fact that um, David Healy, uh, not far. Okay, here we go. Show. So yeah, David Healy. There was a case here not long ago. I'm not even lying. Not far from where I live, and my wife knows one of the people involved in this situation. There was a party going on, a bunch of 20 somethings getting drunk and talking shit. And young man made a joke to a female there. They were arguing. He said, "Get back in the kitchen and make me a sandwich." And she doused him in petrol and set him on fire. Not even lying. I don't recall the sentence, but it was way too short. I think it was like 5 years or something. Yeah, David, it was terrible. It was terrible. So I think what Pauline Hanson's doing here, I mean, it's a pretty standard thing because the other side will argue something like, yeah, David, yeah, it was like a young party and they're all drunk and stuff, but it doesn't excuse it. I mean, flip the sexes and watch what happens to the guy. Pauline's making the same thing, which she'd be accused of. What about the Mendo, right? Which is the argument when you say, we had an article in the paper one time. It was a big headline, 25% of homeless people are women. and that was Shazzy. She wasn't a redhead. No, no. I do love redheads. I married one, for Christ's sake. I just like picking on them. So, yeah, this big headline, and they had this graph with like 10 little stick figures, and not 10. How do you do 75? Well, say it was 2 out of 8. They had 8 little stick figures. 6 of them were grey and 2 of them were pink. And they were saying, "Oh my God, 25%. Do you realize 25% of people, homeless people, are women? We have to help them." Like, it gets to the point, it's like reading 1984. You're going to believe me or your lying eyes, right? And once you see it, you can't unsee it. I give I give Mrs. Markin the shits all the time because she likes to watch all these modern sort of series on Netflix and shit, about families and relationships and shit like that. And I can't get through 3 minutes without going, "That's woke, that's woke." And I look at her and I go, "Did you?" She goes, "Kieran, please, can we just watch it?" Sometimes, I'll make an effort and bite my tongue. I'll like almost bit my fucking tongue off watching these things. But, you got to do what you got to do when you're a married man. You got to spend time with the missus. You got to share some interests. So let's go a little bit more through this and see if we can actually make some content. I mean actual content. I don't mean raking in likes or anything. Just domestic violence is a terrible scourge. Yes, it is. It's appalling that women are dying in their own homes at the hands of people they once trusted and loved. However, men are victims too. 25% of all domestic violence victims are men. That's an interesting statistic because, thanks, Shaz. Um, Again, I'm relying on the internet, but there are people on the internet you trust. You think they're reliable sources if you look around enough. So 25% of all domestic violence victims are men. Uh, it's going to depend on reporting. Men don't report. It's going to depend on how you define domestic violence, because now they talk about financial abuse and emotional abuse and stuff like that. So it's very hard to pin it down. Not to undermine the actual reality of domestic violence. It is awful. But I believe when it comes to unreciprocated violence, which is one partner's hitting the other and the other partner isn't hitting back, I believe it's actually much higher for women, like 70% in those instances. Okay, I'm trying to read chat as well, but that's okay. I should leave it to the mods. Should leave it to the mods. Not John Burt, the other the other mods. So and nobody has been appointed as a parliamentary secretary to look into the profound lack of support and assistance for male victims compared to that available to women and children. That's actually really good. What was her name? Erin Prizzy. She was famous for opening the original women's shelters. Yeah, and me too, John Burt. Hit me up anytime. So Erin Prizzy began the first kind of women's shelters, and they had them all over the country in the USA. The feminists now hate her because she tried to open up some shelters for men, and that just they fucking hate her. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Men will be right. We'll take care of ourselves. We're told this world first portfolio will focus on addressing malign influences and role models online that promote toxic masculinity. By the way, in case you're wondering, kids, there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. There's masculinity and there are assholes. And disrespectful attitudes towards women, which means if you say anything about an individual woman or women in general that is less than a glowing recommendation, you're a misogynist. No doubt there's plenty of that on the internet, especially pornography. So, one of the influences that Pauline's pointing out, one of the influences that lead to toxic masculinity is pornography. Interesting. We could solve the problem of pornography tomorrow if women stopped making it. If women just didn't turn up and perform in pornography, problem gone. But no one has been appointed as a parliamentary secretary to address the malign influences online that cause women to have potentially lethal eating disorders like anorexia, or cause children to think all of their imagined problems will be solved if they take puberty blockers and switch genders, or cause young people or cause young people to commit brazen crimes for social media credit. Got to say, Pauline, I don't know if she wrote this, but it's one of the most succinct. Well, she's demolishing the other side. One Nation repeats the call for the appointment of ministers for men in Australian parliaments, not to scapegoat them as the only perpetrators of domestic violence, but to support men and address men's issues like parental alienation, physical and mental health, workplace safety, and the epidemic of male self-deletion in Australia. Well, that's actually one of the most succinct pieces of writing I've read in a long time. I was taught once that God, back in my days at uni about 13 years ago, I was taught the importance of being able to pare some writing down to the least words possible and to get your point across. And I got to say that's impressive. That's impressive. Okay. Here we go. Trying to figure out how to do that, and then we'll do just for a second. Oh, there we go. You know, Shazzy, there's brings up that concept when you're on the aeroplane. You know, you're flying international or something, and they do the safety routine before you take off, and they say if there's trouble and the oxygen masks fall down, if you're a parent, your job is to put your mask on first. Don't try to hold your breath and put your kids' masks on because you won't hold it long enough, and you'll be no use to anybody. You know, David, I think that's a pretty astute thing to say because people talk about parasocial relationships. You know, when you have hang on, got to address Shazzy. They okay, fair enough. Maybe they would. So you better make sure they're okay. And the best way to do it is to save yourself first, so that you can actually tend to them. If you go, oh my god, I got to tend to them first, and then you pass out, and then you know it it doesn't end well. It's okay to look after yourself so you can help people, right? Well, in fact, the best way you can help people is to look after yourself. But back to John, yeah, people talk about parasocial relationships, which is, you know, I have Facebook friends, I have internet friends, and they kind of undermine it as though it's, you know, less value than real life interactions. But I think sometimes they throw the baby out with the bathwater. I've had conversations with people online, just in chat. Never met them, never spoke to them, just shared a few kind words or a few encouraging words. It doesn't take much. Yeah, that's true, Shazzy. I get it. And that's why sometimes these parasocial relationships are good because you get built up. You get built up, ma'am. All right, where are we? We got this one. Oh, 1 second.
Do you reckon this is a suitable outfit to go to Kmart in?
No, hang on. Oh, Jesus, hang on. David, you're a step ahead of me. I was literally in the process. I'm not going to take away David's, but I appreciate the self-sacrifice. I was literally just about to drop a wrench on John Burt, God help me, and then my daughter came in and asked me if what she was wearing was appropriate to wear to go round to Kmart. That's why I was distracted. By the way, the answer was no. All right. All right. So, John, can you just say something in chat for a moment? Just say hello or something. There we go. So, John, do me a favour just to test out your powers. Can you time out David Healy for a minute? Just give him a fucking timeout for a minute. David. Well, we'll see if he does it, you see. We'll see if he does it. I'm waiting in anticipation. We've got Flaming Heron here as well. Just say if you were after money from strange men and see what her reaction would be. Flaming Heron, not quite sure if you're in the right chat because I don't understand. I don't understand what you're referring to. Just say if you were after money from strange men and see what her reaction would be. It kind of feels like you were replying to somebody else's chat, like you've got 4 tabs open. Yeah, me too, Shazzy. Ah, gotcha. Got you, Flaming. Yeah. Yeah. Don't need to describe what she was wearing. I'll just say I found it unacceptable. So, and she said, "What? No." And I said, "Well, what'd you ask me for?" And David, today's my first day fasting in the Orthodox way. Congratulations. That's really something. Yeah, David, I was inquiring into the Orthodox Church. I think I've said it before. I was a lapsed Catholic, and then I came back to the Catholic Church a couple of years ago, but there was something not right. And then, of course, through Andrew, I ended up hearing about Orthodoxy, and I had a chat with the local Greek Orthodox priest. I attended matins and liturgy just the once. It was quite an experience. Yeah, I did. I did, David. Yeah, I went to liturgy and matins. Like I was the only person there, right? It was so funny. An hour and a half before liturgy started, and I'm sitting there by myself while there was three people singing and the priest was singing. Yeah, and I met a guy there who was a recent convert. Yeah, I went to matins too. Yeah, and I met this young guy there, and he was a recent convert, and he told me about a Orthodox church. It's about 4 hours from here, but they do the whole thing in English. So I thought maybe I'll take Katie for a road trip. We'll spend a weekend and go down there and attend liturgy in English, and maybe have a chat with the priest down there. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. You know. So Shazzy, you lost 11 stone. Thanks, David. Oh, David, it's really tricky um, because I don't want to fake it. So I don't want to just give it lip service. It seems to me the Orthodox Church is probably right, as far as I can tell, from the outside where I am. But I don't want to give it lip service. Shazzy. I should highlight that comment just for no, I won't. No, I won't. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right on that. Maybe sometimes you've just got to go with the spark and see what happens. Oh shit! Didn't mean to do that. There we go. That's better. You don't want my big noggin filling the screen up. I've got to figure out how to get this camera a little bit lower. It's sitting on top of the screen at the moment, but it makes my forehead look huge, right? It's better than up the nose camera when the camera's down here. The problem is my screen's here, so I'd have to put it on the side, and then I'd be doing a stream like this. You'd all see me talking like this, and I know some guys do that, but I'm not a fan. So yeah, logistically can't quite figure out how to make that happen. Shazzy, well, I guess there's a silver lining, right? I tried to lose weight for years, but PTSD. Yeah, I I lost weight due to a duodenal ulcer, you know. Wouldn't recommend it, but, you know. David, my day was it was pretty good. It was pretty good, you know. Work was pretty steady. Had a couple of wins at work. The fact is, I work with a bunch of great guys. Even my boss is great, you know. I think it's the probably the best job I've had, and most of it comes from the fact of the guys I work with. And how was your day, David? Uh, that is true. Because you think about it, you spend more time with the people you work with than you do with the people you love. So I've worked in both extremes. I had one job at one time, absolutely fucking horrible. Oh, 11:30 a.m. Okay, went to the gym. I remember the gym. I remember the gym. I used to go 9 times a week. Not even lying. Plus running twice a week. Oh shit, David, 2 jobs. Shazzy's still sitting in jammies. Well, you know, Shazzy, you've earned it, right? You've earned it. David, up at 4:30 a.m. every day. Yeah, I pretty much wake up at around 5. It doesn't matter what time I go to bed. Go to bed at 9 o'clock. Go to bed at 1:30, 5 o'clock. Boom, I wake up, and I try to stay in bed, but I can't. I just got to get up. Yeah, me too. Me too. When I was in high school, I was going to do my final year of high school, and I'd messed around for the previous 13 years or 12 years. I thought maybe I'll make the last year count. You know, I'm going to be there. I may as well give it a good red hot go. And one of the universities in Melbourne was offering a lecture for year 12 students, different advice on how to maximize your study and stuff. And one thing they pointed out is that some people are morning people and some people are night people, and it might be good to figure out who you are. And I gave the morning thing a go. So instead of doing my homework at night after school, I'd go to bed early, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, do a couple of hours homework, uh, go to school. I was part of the gymnastics team, believe it or not. So I'd do an hour of gymnastics training, and then I'd go into school. And I think that changed my life. John Burt never did time out David Healy. Just saying. Is it possible he might be a good cunt? I'm a bit suspicious about that. I reckon he might be a good cunt. We like good cunts around here. Oh, hang on, hit the wrong one. Yeah, David, one of the things that turned me around, I should go back to it, was I downloaded an app on the phone called Hello. It's a Catholic app, but they do it like you can do a 10-minute thing where they read a little short verse from the Bible. They kind of set you up, like lie down, close your eyes. They'll read a little verse. They'll give you 20 seconds to contemplate. Then they'll read it again. And then they kind of direct you to think about how that might apply to your life. Um, now that I think of it, that pulled me out of a pretty bad place, actually. Just that, just to wake up every morning and have 10 minutes to just contemplate some scripture. When you say the Jesus prayer, is that the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer? Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, John. Yeah, John. At one time, like for about I don't know, fucking 15 years, 20 years, I did the same thing. But in hindsight, I kind of didn't. I told myself that's what I was doing. I was a self-proclaimed atheist. I said all the atheist things. But if I look back at the thread that kept me sane, it was still relying effectively on Christian values. I can't deny it. And so I'm at the point now where I go, well, if you're relying on it, why don't you step into it and like own it? Not you, I mean me. If that's the thing that has kept you sane and kept you, well, effectively alive and um, guided the choices in my life that have turned out well, why would I try to reject that? Yeah, I'm hearing you, John, on what you're saying there. That's a tough one, right? That's a tough one. But in my own experience, forgiveness is for the benefit of the forgiver, not the forgiven. Because as far as I know, you see, I sound like a Christian now, right? It's God who forgives. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'll let you in on something. I had to forgive myself, right? Nothing heinous. Don't get me wrong, right? But yeah, I had to look back and forgive myself because I could have done so much better. So, John, Nelson Mandela once said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and hoping somebody else dies." Right? I'm not saying that you're resentful. Oh, Shazzy. Well, I made it. Okay, it's in caps. You're going to shout at me? I'll put it on screen. Okay. I made it my job to stay ugly because I hated myself for others. Yeah, well, Shazzy, if you tried to stay ugly, you did a really bad job. Okay, just going to say you failed. There are certain things, guys, that where it would be great to look back on our lives and say, I went through a hard time. This happened to me. This horrible thing happened, and there was this moment where it all worked out, and I realized, and it's like the hero's journey, the epic hero's journey, where you have that moment where you go, that's when it changed. In my experience, most serious things aren't like that. What happens is, at some point in your life, you kind of look back and you're thinking, and you go, "Wow, I'm doing okay now." And you think, "When did that happen?" Right? It's so annoying because you can't find that one point where it all changed, or that one point where you turned around the corner. And you go, "But hang on. I want like a closure. I want a moment where I realized I'm not that, and now I'm this." But it's a bit like watching a tree grow. You know, can you tell a difference between an acorn, a sapling, and a tree? There's no one moment where it happens. So Shazzy, now you're talking to me and Katie because yeah, I'd say perfection is God, and Katie would say perfection is babies. Yeah, but John, you see, at some point you got to step back and say, how's that working out for you, right? That perspective. Like I get it. I totally get you, brother. I get it, right? I would love it to be something or nothing. I would love it if there were people I love and people I hate. Right? It doesn't work out that way. Doesn't work out that way. It turns out almost everybody you think is bad has some redeeming feature, and everyone you think is good has something about them that's a bit of an asshole, right? And so here we are, stuck in the middle with you. Oh, I feel like playing a song, but 85% of my streams have been taken down for, excuse me, for playing songs. So, yeah, David, you missed the midget. It's a black Jamaican lesbian midget. You say you fail. That's like a bronze medal at the Oppression Olympics. You know, David, when I first got into the gym, I was training like a motherfucker, right? And checking myself in the mirror after every set, all that kind of shit. And then one day I thought, this is driving me insane. Like I'm seeing nothing. And not a word of a lie, I decided to not look in any mirror for 2 months. I thought, go 2 months, just train, do your sets. I had a routine. I had my little card filling in all the, how much I'd increase the weights each time. Even at home, when I was getting in the shower, I wouldn't look in the mirror. If I was having a shave, I just made sure I couldn't see below the chin. And then one day I thought, okay, it's been a couple of months. I used to wear baggy clothes around to the gym, like a hoodie and baggy sweatpants, and we call them trackies anyway, but all of that. And then one day I thought, I reckon it's probably time. It's been a couple of months. I reckon I'll go around the gym and I'll get my top off, and I was just wearing like a tank top. Not even joking. I I walked past the mirror. I thought some other guy was walking towards me. I didn't even recognize myself. That actually spun me out. Yeah, trachy bottoms. Yeah, yeah. Trachy dax. Trachy dax is probably a better one. John, that's the smartest thing you've said all night. Love you, brother. Yeah, Shazzy, you're getting to that age, too old to give a shit, right? I love it. I love when I was doing my lawn mumming round. I was doing gardening and shit, and I did a lot of work for old women because I'm not saying you're an old woman, but I'm saying I did a lot of work for old women because, of course, their husbands always die early because men die about 8 years before women do, and there's all these ladies with maybe a daughter who lives nearby, looks after them, does stuff like this, need someone to mow the lawn, but they were the funniest old birds, man. They were literally too old to give a shit. They would just say whatever they fucking thought. I used to love it. We got along really well, actually. Some of them would in the afternoon. I'd finish their job, and they go, "You finished for the day?" And I go, "Yeah." She pull out a beer. I'd sit with them and have a beer after work with the old ladies. It was good shit. Oh, Shazzy. I didn't mean to say that you're a statistic, but it's just a fact of life, my love. Me and Katie have had this conversation because I'm like 8 years older than her, and statistically, I'm going to die 7 years earlier. That's like 15 years, right? And she goes, "No, no, I don't want to talk about it." I go, "We should talk about it." Just a fact of life. The same as we have the conversation that rangers are crazy, right? She's finally understood it, right? Her crazy ranger brains finally got it. She understands that sometimes she's crazy. Well, as usual, I start these things going, okay, I'm doing half an hour, then I'm going to bed. Then you guys turn up. You bastards. You turn up and gas mask. I think I know that name in the chat. I think I know that name. Well, Shazzy, if you were living on tin peaches and cup of soup for 2 years, I'm going to guess that wasn't the 2 years you put on 11 stone, right? David, God bless. Go teach. Go form the young minds of tomorrow. Unless you're teaching adults, in which case, change their minds. Yeah, see you, brother. Oh, okay, yes, Mask, you're over at Jess's. Okay. Yeah, that's where I've seen you. I used to be at Jess's a lot. Still there now, but not as much as I used to be. Okay, I've got to take a 2 minute, as speakers you would say, a 2 minute washroom break. Got no idea what a washroom is, but I kind of get the idea. So, can I trust you guys in the chat to behave yourselves while I'm gone? You're all going to look after each other? Well, Shazzy Bear, I'm leaving you in charge. Look after these little digheads here. Make sure they behave themselves. I'll be back in, I don't know, 2 minutes. Just catching up on the chat, see what you guys have been up to. Flaming Heron, we behaved sort of, except somebody, won't name anyone's, talking about women's underwear. Not quite sure where that was going, but you know, I'll grant you the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, John, me too. One of my favourite channels. Seems to me to be pretty solid. There we go. A little bit of colour. It's budgerigars. I was camped up by a little lake on a farmer's property. He allowed people to free camp. And like 10,000 fucking budgies. Just this swarm, it was fucking incredible. This picture doesn't do it justice, but there were 10,000 of the fuckers swarming around. Yeah, flaming heron, I know. It does look like that, but I'm not even kidding. There must have been like thousands of them in a big swarm. And they'd all swirl around over the lake. And then like half of them would come down and all drink at the edge of the lake while the other half kept flying around. Then they'd take off and those ones would come down. They're all kind of watching each other. Yeah, it was insane. Now, the next thing I've got to figure out is how to make live chat available for other people to read. Do you know when you go to a stream that's been uploaded and sometimes you can click it and you can watch the live chat happen like it's pre-recorded? John Burt, you stay true, brother. And maybe eventually you'll spell my name correctly. But, I won't hold it against you. Enjoy your dinner, brother. Yeah, I reckon that's true. Flaming heron of all the people to be commenting on birds. No, I think those kind of yeah, I think it's also those patterns are kind of everywhere anyway in nature, right? Thanks, Shazzy. Yeah, so I've really got to figure out how to do that. I think you do it in YouTube. Might be after we're finished. I go back to the YouTube studio and I click a thing that says turn on live chat so that if people watch it later, they can turn on chat and they can see all you guys sharing your wisdom as the show progresses. Because going to say there has been some wisdom tonight in chat. There really has. Yes, Shazzy, very wise old people. And we have to shout out, we got to shout out to the wise young people. There's been a couple of them here too. It depends how you define young, but but yes, very wise old people. I think that's another thing in our modern society that's I talk a lot about the way that men are disparaged and men are told off and all that stuff, but I think people of age, of a certain age, that's another one. It's all about young people being true and expressing themselves and not having restrictions. Thanks, Flaming Heron. I'll look at that tomorrow morning. Yeah, I thought it was going to be in YouTube. Yeah. So apparently I can play just before I go. Have to go pretty soon. Um, let's play with some little settings. Apparently I can play some background music. That's kind of cool. I'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. Okay, I've got they're all going to be kind of generic. Acoustics, cinematic. Yeah, I know Flaming Heron, just non-copyrighted music. I know, but I asked Jess about this. How does she play that song, Smoko, again and again and again and never get copyrighted? I'm assuming because they aren't worried about it. They haven't put a copyright on it. I'm assuming. So the way to do it is to just like interrupt it every 10 seconds and just make a comment. But that kind of ruins the whole point, right? What I need is someone really clever to write some AI songs. Well, they're getting sued too, actually. Yeah, the AI music and the AI image generation. Midjourney is getting sued by Disney and Warner Brothers and all the big players. Yeah, Flaming Heron. I might need to venture in there myself and see if I can come up with some AI music. I mean, how hard could it be, right? What does this do? I can't hear it there either. Oh, there's something playing. Yeah, I've got to sort out my computer because whenever I play music like this, I can hear a little bit of the drum beat, but I can't really hear it properly. Okay, enough of that. Flaming Heron, if they're non-copyright, I thought that was the point, that you can use them because you paid whatever you paid, or if they were free. But as long as they're non-copyright, I'm pretty sure you can do whatever you want. There are sometimes terms. Sometimes they'll say non-copyright for personal use, but for commercial use, they want to cut, which is fair enough, I suppose. Shazzy, we need to get you shared out, Kieran. Yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, you know. First of all, I better figure out what the hell I'm doing and how I'm doing it. That'd be a good start. And then, yeah, sure. Let's share it out. We'll see what happens. But thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Yeah, it sounds about right, flaming heron. They'll sometimes say you can use it to play with and for personal use, but if you're making a quid, they want a cut, which is fair enough. They've gone to the trouble of making it. Okay, I'm trying to find one last. Oh, Bill Hicks. Oh, fucking hell. Bill, I was about to wrap it up, and now you fucking turn up. I've got to hang around for another fucking 10 minutes. Just out of respect, right? All right, trying to find another photo just to mix things up a little bit. Now, should be able to find. Bill, no, it's all good, mate. We'll give it just another few minutes just to play around a little bit. I'm just kind of playing with settings and stuff. We have had a nice stream tonight. Everybody in chat's been really supportive of each other, looking out for each other. It's been really nice. Yeah, we can go with the birds, eh? For flaming heron. Okay, here's some. We stayed by a lake where there was a whole bunch of swans every morning. We'd wake up, go to bed, the lake's empty, and then in the morning, not swans. There were swans there. They're more like ducks, but that's in the morning sunrise over the lake. Look at these fuckers, fucking dancing on water. There were tons of them. That's only like a zoomed in photo. When they come into land and they skip over the water while they're landing. And then the same lake at night. I'll show you this. Right, one more. The same lake at night looked like this. There we go. That's the same lake. Sunrise, nighttime. Got to say, it wasn't a bad time. Okay, kids, it's time to go. Unless somebody pays me $50 to extend the show. I'm joking. You can't pay me. Thanks, John. Hey, guys, it's been really nice hanging out tonight. Really appreciate everybody coming over. Shazzy Bear, as always good to see you, love. And all the mods, including John Burt. Appreciate your support. Bill Hicks, you come in a bit late, but it was still good to see you. We had Jim Bowden here before. He's got court tomorrow, so he couldn't come up. So I'm going to wrap it up. Maybe should probably spend a bit of time with the wife before I go to bed. You know how it goes. John Burt. Flaming Heron. God bless. Just going to wait another 45 seconds for the stragglers to sign off. And then we'll wrap it up. John Burt. I'm going to take away your fucking wrench. No, I'm only playing. You arsehole. John, I was going to say I'll pass it on, but I won't. Take care of yourself, man. And seriously, hit up people on Discord, mate. There's a whole bunch of people here who want to talk to you. All right, guys. Appreciate you all. Time to wrap it up. John. Oh, John, you're killing me. I'm trying to go, bro. I'm trying to go. All right. All right, guys. Take care of yourself. God bless. And I'll talk to you next time.